Hello, Lionface here. As you can see, staring at the car in front of you. Just going to do a quick overview of Manufacturers Nations Cup race. What are we, round 15 now? Round 13? I don't know. The Bathurst round, Bathurst Group 3. I ended up qualifying second behind Nick McCosey in the Mercedes, as you can see just up ahead. Followed by Bass, Adam, Sidog, Kinemos, and GTR Freak. Qualifying time was, what was it, a 2:01.6, followed by me on a 2:02 flat. And the other guy's actually not far behind, 2:02.1 and 2:02.2s, I think. Where were we? I know Sidog was a 2:02.2, so a few cars very close together. And I don't know why it wasn't moving, but there it goes. So it's actually quite comfortable in the Supra. I thought it was quite a nice car. Turns out the Astons are the go on tyre wear. And I was quite surprised to pick up second, but I'll take it. And I thought I'd try to live with Nick, because I thought he'd just stream away. And I was just more concerned about conserving and saving my tyres for the race. So Car Bass behind me starts on the racing hards. So he falls it back a little bit, and Adam gets past him later on this lap. Sidog was placed quite favourably in the Toyota, because the Toyota FT1 probably has the best tyre wear. Probably followed by the Aston. The Aston's actually not that far behind by the looks of things, from what I picked up in this race. But not a lot happens early on. I just hang out behind Nick for a bit. Just try to keep pace with him and try to make a gap for the guys behind. And I was planning on doing a 5-lap stint at the start. Either way, the 5th lap you lose about 3 seconds, 2 or 3 seconds. And I found if I did it, as my second stint or my first stint, I was losing about the same amount of time. So I'd rather go a lap longer and not fall back into traffic and potentially get held up. And as you just saw flashing past in the background, I think that was Kinemos. Himself and Sidog have an incident. Kenny side by side with Si. And just this corner, his tail gets a bit sideways, knocks Sidog onto the grass. And Sidog comes back and takes out Kinemos. At that stage, he's just a penalty. Just a passenger, really. Lucky to split these two. I think Bass saw it coming and put on the brakes to avoid it, did he? Yeah. That's pretty cool. Sidog picks up a 4-second penalty for that one. And Kenny obviously falls way down the field. So we skip ahead to lap 3 now. I was holding quite a good pace, I thought, to Nick. He was definitely a faster driver than me in this game. I was holding about a second. But then around this corner, and I see he just has a really weird off. I just thought he'd gone too deep on the brakes and basically gifted me first place. And I wasn't sure if he was holding up for a penalty or what he was doing. But he disconnects shortly afterwards. Right there. So if we jump back, I can only assume it's a failure of some kind. Let's turn that on. Because you notice his braking just cuts all of a sudden. And he's got nothing. He can obviously steer the car. He's not even steering the car, according to the... Maybe it's just a disconnect. Maybe he's already disconnected. It's a strange one. I haven't seen a disconnect kind of drive down the road a bit and then turn like this. but the wee red steering indicator isn't moving. So that was a strange one. But I was happy. I'll take that. Of course, why wouldn't you? You know, get a gift of first position when somebody like that drops out. So now I was just trying to hold on to my tyres, try to maintain the gap to Adam behind in the Aston, and hold my tyres so I can do a 5-lap stint. But as you can see, I didn't know this in the race. I had no idea what the Aston could do. I never practiced with it, had no idea. Same on fuel. No, I'm a little bit worse on fuel. Oh, we're about the same, aren't we? But he's obviously much better on tyres. And whether that's the Aston alone or his driving style, I don't know. Considering last week at Catalunya in the Super Formula, he was actually quite rough in his tyres. I don't know if that's either he's mixed up his driving style, or it suits the Group 3s better, or it's just the Aston is really good. Not to take anything away from Adam, he's a very good driver and very quick, and most days, actually just about every day, he's faster than me. I wish he'd put a better livery on his car. This livery looks pretty cool, but the plain green, not so much. But this is lap 5. At the end of lap 5, he goes side by side, and unfortunately has a small coming together with me, and comes off much worse. So I'll jump back and show it from different angles. That was a funny jump through the air, wasn't it? So we both decided to do the 5 laps at the start. This is my view. I'll jump back and I'll put that on, so it looks more like, because this is the view I run on in the game. So this is my view. And I knew I was going to go side by side with him. I thought I'd give him enough room. Just a small tap. I tried saving it. Tried braking so I wouldn't fly off. I thought initially I was going to go straight past him. I was braking in a straight line. And I was like, okay, great, I'm going to miss him, but I want to pull up and not go too deep. But eventually the car brakes off to the right, and I end up in the side of Adam. And a bounce worked out for me quite nicely. I didn't actually get a penalty for this. I thought I might. Maybe it's because I had already gone off the road too much, I'm not sure. So I was very lucky with how that ended up for me. But Adam, see, much better tyre wear. But unfortunately for Adam, yeah, he's not so lucky. And that's a shame. It's a real sad way to end what was probably going to be a really close and really good race. And it's not the way I want to take a position or hold a position at all. And he just can't get out of the grass, and there's not resetting him for him. I wonder why. I had no idea, but he fell a long way back. I had no idea why. But obviously, the game decides to punish him more for whatever reason. Back behind Sidog now. See a Carbass on the racing hard goes an extra lap, so he claims first. I come out of the pits in second, fresh set of tyres, and Art Noble not too far behind, I think 2 seconds behind at this stage. I was a bit worried about Carr. He was 12 seconds up the road. I wasn't sure if he was actually going to try to do the whole race, but I wasn't actually gaining that much time actually across the top. I wasn't driving the fastest. I made an error, so I didn't gain a lot of time this lap. But I was actually a bit worried that he might be able to hold on to his gap by the end of the race. But turns out He ends up putting it at the end of lap 6. Interesting strategy. I guess it allows him just to fly on medium tyres for 3 laps after taking a pain of hard tyres for 6. So skipping ahead to the end of the race, nothing much happened in the last few laps. I backed off and just made sure I saved the tyres. Not that 4 laps is overly difficult on these tyres now with enough practice under my wing. Because, geez, the first time you go out in these cars around here with the tyre wear, you just think, how are they ever going to last 5 laps? But yeah, 4 laps, just taking it easy. I believed Noble had pitted the lap prior, so he was on worse tyres, so I didn't have to push. I wasn't racing anybody at this stage, so I could just cruise to a win. Not how I wanted to win. I don't like winning in circumstances like that. I'll certainly take the points and take a win against my name, but it doesn't leave me with a great feeling in my mouth, great taste in my mouth. But Noble brings it home second. Ends up about 4 or 5 seconds behind me. And GTR comes in third, although chased rapidly by Sidog, recovering from that early off and penalty. But GTR just manages to hold him off. It's the weakest part of the circuit for the FT1, and even on the worst tyres for the GTR, he can just power out of these corners a bit better. But thank you for watching, and I hope to do this more often actually.